Hi, I'm Tim. This is Dan, and you're watching Disney Channel. Welcome to the Hard Mode Podcast with you boys. Today we are going to be talking about a bunch of stuff, like the stuff that we played and a bunch of new games that came out, including Crash 4 Rogue Squadron, which we have not played yet.
We have not played those
at
all.
But we want to play them.
I want to play them both.
Because they're both good.
But that's $100 in
Probably.
real American dollars to buy those.
That we do not have.
I don't want to spend that much.
I also kind of want Crash on Switch, but apparently it's never going to come out on Switch.
Well, you don't know that.
No, I don't. But it's not out
It's
yet.
only on PS4 and Xbox right now.
That's real sad boy hours.
But it's supposed to be pretty legit.
It got good reviews, right? I almost said good grades.
It got good grades. It did well in English.
It got good grades.
No, it did. It's getting like 8s and 8.5.
Which is pretty good for what it is.
It's basically like the old games, but they tried to bring something fresh and original.
I like that.
I guess it's...
I like that.
I guess I like that a lot.
I like that. And then Rogue Squadron is like racing.
No.
It's not racing. It's piloting.
Yeah, you're like in TIE fighters and X-Wings.
I just want to let you know, I know nothing. All I know is that game's Star Wars.
So
there's nothing.
There's like an 8-hour campaign that everybody says is basically like just getting you ready for playing multiplayer, and then it's just like space battles and stuff like that in a ship. You're like first person. There's VR support.
That's lovely.
And the Star Wars music is legit. The fighting is supposed to be pretty cool. Some people love it. Some people are like, eh.
So you just fly around and shoot each other in X-Wings and other cool ships, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Like any from either side. Like one team is one side, one team's the other. And then you fly around and...
Yeah, I want to play that.
Shoot stuff.
But,
and apparently also if you have like a flight stick and stuff, that's cool.
Yeah, I saw people saying that they wanted to buy one just for that game because it's sick. Did anything else come out this week?
Spelunky 2 on PC, which I played like 20 minutes of. And
that sounds good.
Absolutely garbage at it, so I just got it's like because that game is like a trial by fire and not like anything.
Yeah, like Super Meat Boy.
Yes. It's basically like it's a platformer that seems like it should be like where you have to run really fast, but you have to take your time.
Or you'll die.
100
times.
And yeah, you don't like I've never played the first one. So playing the second one, I wasn't prepared for like all of a sudden an arrow to shoot out of the wall and kill me instantly and knock me out of the air and I fall 500 feet to my death. There were runs where I would start it and just die in like 7 seconds because I was like, I don't even know it just killed me. Like,
I don't think I played the first one ever. I don't think I've played any Spelunky at all.
It's basically like a 2D platformer with randomly generated dungeons, and it's very unforgiving. Like, you have a whip that you can hit stuff with, and then you can jump and bounce on. No, you gotta like blow stuff up. And then you can get like ropes that you can climb, jetpacks, stuff like that.
I like jetpacks.
So I'm gonna play that a little bit more eventually, but right now I'm like, dude, it's so hard.
So you just don't feel like putting the time in to get good?
Yeah, like, look, man, I don't want to go to work and then I come home and I don't want to get shit on by Spelunky for a couple hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just have a miserable experience.
Just
dying
like a
repeatedly.
miserable day all day. Just getting dunked on by some, like, it's a game that looks like it's for children and you're just getting
absolutely destroyed.
Slapped around like a little bitch.
I want to try, maybe I can get the first one for like 4 cents and I'll try it.
Yeah.
I've never played that.
Well, everybody says they're like amazing, but you have to get into it.
Yeah, you have to put the time in.
And it's supposed to be like really rewarding as far as like if you can actually get good.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So yeah, Rogue Squadron's only $40, which is pretty dope. But Crash is like the full 60.
I like when they make games $40. That's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's a
that's a good
game changer.
That's good. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And we also had the new Smash Bros. Character announcement.
Minecraft.
Which
Steven.
is Minecraft Steve. And it's kind of one of the
Ridiculous.
coolest things I've ever seen in my life, because there's a lot of characters in various fighting games that are from like other franchises that don't really make sense, but I feel like this one sticks out in Smash Bros. More than anything else.
It's like Game & Watch or something where it just completely doesn't fit the visual style.
Nothing like it, and I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, he looks like a very complicated character too.
There's a lot going on there.
You have to mine resources
from like certain specific parts of the stage or something, or different resources, right?
Depending on where you're standing, you get different resources.
And I saw people already saying that edge guarding is broken with him because you just build a wall right at the edge when they try and come up.
You can build up and just like block people, or
and they just take an L.
Yeah, basically.
It's insane. And like we were just talking about, Dan Fornes from Rivals of Aether dev was saying that Crag from that game basically does the same thing, which is exactly what people do with that character in Rivals of Aether, is they try and push you off the side of the stage and then just go and build up next to it so they block you and you can't get up.
But Minecraft Steve's blocks like start to disappear on their own, so they don't last very long.
The dirt like fades away.
Yeah, it automatically starts to go away. But he gets like his ultimate, you hit them with a spring and it like knocks them into a house filled with explosives and creepers.
That's amazing.
And then Minecraft Steve literally just stands in front of it and takes a bite out of a steak while they blow up in the house and die. Yeah. It's like he said, Sakurai was like, it's a victory steak because you just smoked them. And I was like, geez,
dude,
man.
Sakurai is a national treasure, an international treasure.
So that character is either going to be like so ridiculous that he's like OP, or he's going to be so ridiculous that nobody wants to try and get good
I feel like
him.
every new character in a fighting game is broken until they fix it.
Yeah.
Every time. And you know that like some pro is going to win 8 tournaments with it before they patch it out. But they'll find a way to make it.
I don't even know what the meta is in that game anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm not sure.
Attention.
I haven't watched Smash Bros.
I played it when Banjo-Kazooie came out, and I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted my whole life. And then I never played it again.
Yeah, because we suck at those games.
But
I enjoy watching competitive fighting games because those people are so good. I find it very interesting to watch them destroy each other, but I cannot do it. I can't. Cannot.
I suck.
Nope. Cannot do it.
You have to like study animation frames and like to
and
get,
the
like,
timings
legit.
and stuff. Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
And
the
like,
work those guys put in.
To do a combo in Mortal Kombat, you gotta go up, left, right, BA, Q.
select start.
Yeah, and just start like, I can't do that.
It's insane.
I can't do that. Just let me shoot somebody right
like,
in the head with a gun.
If you're good at that stuff,
more power
to you. But that's not me. I can't do it.
I'm pretty bad. I enjoy them like on a very, very casual level. Like if I can just punch stuff.
That's why I think Smash Bros for me is at its most fun when you have like 4 to 8 people, items on, just destroy each other. Like nuts. That's the way to do it. I like watching like the 1v1 no items FD. I like that. I like watching it, but I don't want to play it.
Can't do it.
Don't want to play it. Because I'll just get shapapped, and then as soon as I do, it's not fun for me anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's literally like if in Call of Duty you were playing someone who had been playing for 15 years longer than you, and it was just you and them on the map, and they were just destroying only you over and over again.
Or like playing Quake against a professional when you're like a new player. And
like I'm going to go play... It's like me playing Quake duels right now, and then I get matched up against Rafa or something, and he just destroys me for 3 hours.
The map.
Yeah, I wouldn't even get a kill. But anyway, the other part of Minecraft Steve being in Smash Bros. That's cool is this is now the second Banjo and now Minecraft Steve character that Microsoft has allowed Nintendo to put into Smash Bros.
So the potential here,
which gives me a great feeling in my jimmies. Like, Microsoft
stirs them up a little bit.
Microsoft could keep giving them characters,
Which they would, I feel like.
Which they would, could, and now includes Bethesda characters and id characters on top of what they already have. So, like, what if, like, there's a new Fable coming out? What if they're like, boom, Fable character in Smash. Boom! Did it.
Brotherhood of Steel. Boom.
Brotherhood of Steel guy. Boom! In Smash. Boom! Doom guy. Boom! In Smash. He's in Smash. Boom!
Spartan 117 Master Chief John.
BJ Blazkowski.
Blazkowicz.
That's it. That's the one.
Blazkowski.
Blazkowicz. Boom! Smash Bros.
Smash Brothers.
Obviously, not all this, or probably any of this, is going to happen. But the point is, it could. And that's what's important. Also, I mean, do we know anything about what Nintendo's doing as far as their next console yet? We know nothing.
No,
right?
I think next year they're doing like a Switch Mega console. Like it's like the upgraded version with like 1080p on handheld and stuff like that.
It's amazing that Nintendo puts no work whatsoever into their consoles and just still sells consoles because their exclusive games are 1,000 times better than everyone else's.
Well, I mean, the Switch is amazing, like as far
it
as
is.
the handheld.
No, I like the handheld thing and everything is one of the coolest things ever. But the fact that like our next gen of PS5 and Xbox Series X is about to be like basically a high-end PC, and they still are giving us a handheld that maxes out at 1080p, and they can get away with it because they're going to keep pumping out friggin' Super Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion 3, like, and like I'm obviously going to buy I'm going to buy that. Like yeah. I don't care if I have to play it on like a Windows 98 PC. I'm going to buy it.
Pretty much.
I would play those games on Atari.
Well, whatever they come out with, I'll buy it. I'm pretty sure, though, it's going to be like an upgraded Switch with better resolution, better frame rates, more powerful.
If they just went absolutely nuts and said, like, new Switch doesn't have handheld anymore, but 4K 60 FPS, like, something insane like that, like, to match the current gen of consoles, it would be insane.
No, it needs portability. That's like half of the draw of it for people is like you can just play it on a plane. You can play it at your hotel without bringing everything.
It is pretty great.
It's amazing. I was playing Hades in the car today.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I like that.
It's amazing.
I like it a lot.
It's amazing.
Nintendo, you dirty dogs.
You
know
sassy.
Exactly what you're doing, and I love every second of it. And it's so
bitches.
funny. I love Nintendo. Alright, let's talk about games that we played since the last episode of the pod, starting with D-Hard.
Your boy finished Paper Mario, and
which he's tried to talk about in every episode so far.
So I finished it 2 weekends ago. And we're discussing the Origami King, not the older ones.
Yes.
So I finally finished it. Overall, it's phenomenal. The music, the art, the writing, the gameplay, it's fantastic. I love it. There's emotional impact that makes you want to cry. It's got everything. However, the turn-based combat is so garbage, and I hate it so much. The battle system, because it's not an RPG, you have no incentive to fight.
Yeah. Like the random enemies that pop out of trees and stuff. Like, you're better off just running away from them.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's not worth it unless you're, like, desperate for coins, which you never are.
By the way, for context, I have, like, some hours into this game, but I haven't beat it.
So, I loved everything about the game except for the combat system.
I haven't gotten to the point where the combat has really pissed me off yet in the game, but I have already gotten to the point where I can tell that eventually it's going to piss me off.
Yeah, so in the beginning, you're like, okay, I can rotate this, I can slide these across,
yeah,
I can
but
move
then
all this stuff
there's
over.
only like 4 Goombas or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard.
So you would think that from the beginning, okay, later in the game, there's going to be more complicated enemies, and like it's going to change up the way it goes. Nope. It's exactly the same the whole entire time. The only thing that changes, there's a spot where the boos turn invisible and you have to memorize where they are, but it's like nigh unto impossible So, like, you just end up holding down the Y button and spending coins to get the toads to do everything for you.
To, like, hit them, because they, like, auto hit them or whatever.
You're like, dude, this isn't worth it at all. So, like, by the back half of the game, you're just spending your time, like, skirt, like, juking out enemies and stuff, trying to get around them. Like, you're like, I don't want to fight this. There's no point.
Yeah.
The boss fights are pretty fun, and, like, all of them have variety to how you have to approach them, and then you have those Velumental things, which are like the big old turtle dude and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So those make it pretty fun. Everything that's in the world and is great. The puzzles, all that stuff.
The puzzles, the collectibles, the characters, the story, like all that stuff is fun.
Is great.
It's great.
Love it.
It's good stuff.
And
it's classic Nintendo.
And then you're walking through an area and a Goomba hits you on the head and you gotta fight and you're just like,
turns out to be 7 Goombas that you have to rotate in a circle 8 times.
So, overall, like, if I had to give it a 1 to 10, it would be like an 8. Because everything else is so solid.
But if, say the combat was superb, what would it be?
Like a 9 or 10.
And would you consider the combat superb if it was just like the old Mario Party or Paper Mario games?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they innovated on what already existed, then yes. Like, there's no incentive to fighting.
See how that works? Nintendo?
Listen up.
Do you see how that works?
Miyamoto.
We just want something.
Reggie. Wait, Reggie's not with Nintendo.
That's like the original Paper Mario and Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. That's it. That's all we want.
There's no incentive. All I'm saying is there's no incentive to fight. You don't gain XP. You don't level up. When you get into a fight, you use up items that you have. So it's like, oh, now I gotta go buy more. Like, battling. Don't do it.
I've
Like,
experienced this in other games before, where it gets to a point where there's something that you're forced to do in the game that feels like a chore instead of being fun. Like, there's certain games you play where you're like the first one I think of is every single Pokemon game ever. When I play Pokemon, I want to level my guys. I want to level my whole party. My primary objective the whole game is to level them up so that I can murder everyone in my path. So when there's tall grass, when there's a trainer, when there's whatever, I am going out of my way to destroy them so that I can level up and, like, become the best there ever was. Like,
you want to be the very best.
Yeah, 100%.
Like no one ever was.
And then there's games like that where there's just no reward for fighting. The fighting system is not fun.
It's so repetitive.
It's the same thing over and over again. And it's just like, why? Why?
The enemies, like, you can have 50 different enemy types and it doesn't change how you solve the puzzle at all. The only difference is the organization on the board.
Yeah. So, like, anything from a Goomba to an 800-pound gorilla, all I'm doing is still just spinning the thing around and lining them up.
Basically.
And then, boop, 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 boop.
Yes.
And that's it.
But, like, there's a whole section where you drive around in a car and you can just run enemies over and not have to fight them. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
This is the best.
Just give me, like,
That's
rocket.
exactly what I want.
Just give me a rocket launcher and let me shoot stuff. Because in the world, that when enemies are, like, to the point where they're super weak and below you, because your level up is just, you get a heart that gives you more max health, and then Olivia, the little, like, origami girl, is like, oh yeah, guess what? You're a little more powerful too. And you're just like, oh, so, like,
instead of, like, standard leveling, it's just, hey, you're a little more powerful.
Yeah, she just says that when you get the hearts. So when you get to a certain point, like regular Goombas, you can just bonk them on the head and they die in the overworld, so you don't have to actually fight them.
I feel like that's Nintendo's entire MO now, is we do everything absolutely flawlessly perfect. Except for that one thing. There's just
breakable weapons in Breath of the Wild.
Just this one teensy-weensy thing.
Dude, how do they fix breakable weapons in Breath of the Wild? How do they fix that?
What? As in, the point... saying that the point of breakable weapons is to keep you from just using the
the
Master
same
Sword
one.
or whatever the entire game. That's the point of that.
Yeah.
So to solve that problem, they need some kind of mechanic to make you constantly... Okay. I don't know.
Well, here's how they solve it.
He's
ready?
looking for a game design position, so...
You ready?
Listen to this.
So, instead of making it so you're like, damn it, another weapon broke again, you incentivize the weapons breaking. So, say you have a rusty sword from the beginning of the game, and it breaks.
Yep.
Now you can take it to Blacksmith Jimmy over in the village
and use it to upgrade a different one?
use it to upgrade a different one. And then if that breaks, and say, like, you have weapon
and you get the upgrade
tiers,
from all the other weapons that you...
Woo! You have weapon tiers, and at a certain tier, they stop breaking, and then they can just be repaired. But the low tier stuff, like, you say you go into a fight and you chuck it at some douchebag.
Say you'd have to do, like, I don't know, 80 dungeons or 80 shrines before, like, not saying you have to do 80 shrines specifically, but that's how long you would have to have into the game to get to the point that you can get an unbreakable weapon.
But you have all these broken weapons ready to be crafted into something else. So now every time a weapon breaks, you're not like, I gotta find another one of those friggin' things. Now you're like, now I can use that to
upgrade my other thingy,
so,
and then I'll be better at the game.
So they make it so, yes, some weapons break, but it's a good thing because it gives you the stuff that you need to get better.
Right.
And that's how you make that better.
Yes, sir.
Easy class.
That's Game Design 101 with your boy D-Hard. Coming back from the top, what's the next game D-Hard was playing this week?
Nier Automata.
I have never played this game in my life, but it looks very interesting. We have a gentleman friend who claims it is one of the best games he's ever played, and I literally have never heard anyone say anything bad about it, so I should probably play it.
So the trailers show a little, like, a girl with a dump truck of a booty and a blindfold around her head, like sword fighting. It's Platinum Games.
It's Lil B, right?
2B.
2B, that's it. Or not to be.
Lil B.
Lil B.
So, it's a Platinum game, so you kind of have an idea of the general, like,
what
you're
chaos.
getting into. But the game starts, and I made a YouTube video about this because of how crazy it is, but the game starts.
YouTube.com/RedSawQ4. You actually don't get a link until you have, like, a certain amount of subscribers, so we'll talk about that later.
Anyway.
But it's your link is probably like youtube.com/YTW3476212G. Anyway, move on.
Okay,
RedSawQ4 on YouTube.
The trailers and the preliminary stuff don't inform you very much that you can be in a mech. And when I say a mech, I mean, like, you're in a mech and then it transforms into a ship and then it transforms back into a mech and then you shift perspective.
So it's a transformer.
It is a transformer. So you start off and it's like Ikaruga or like Galaga, and you're a ship at the bottom of the screen. You're flying back and forth and you're shooting stuff.
Or
and you're
Aegis
dodging
Wing.
bullets. Or Aegis Wing. And then all of a sudden,
Xbox Live Arcade free game.
Yeah.
Throwback Thursday.
So all of a sudden the camera shifts and it's top down and it's a twin stick shooter and you're like burr, 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 and the whole time, not only when you're the mech form, when you turn into the spaceship thingy, you have a melee attack, and your ship, like, spins around and shoots a sword out and hits stuff. So, like, you're top down, you're hitting stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like, brr, air busters coming in from the side, or what's that other game? I forget what it is. Defender, where you're flying across the screen, you're shooting stuff as you're flying, and then all of a sudden the camera turns again, and you're playing Star Fox. You're playing Star Fox 64, and you're flying through stuff. You're like, and then you crash, boom, bam, 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 bam. And then all of a sudden you're on the ground and you're the dump truck lady. And now you're melee fighting and you're shooting and it's a Platinum game. And then it shifts again and you're playing Contra and you're running to the side and you're side scrolling and platforming and shooting stuff, and enemies are coming from the front and behind and they endlessly spawn because it's a Contra game. And the whole introductory level is the most bananas thing ever. And the whole time you're playing it, you're just like, I can't believe this is happening.
I gotta play this game.
Can't believe it's happening.
It's on PS4, right?
Yes, and PC. And I think Xbox as well. So anyway,
PlayStation.
I am not that deep into it, but from what I can tell, it's basically like the character you play as is an android that's supposed to be like defeating these robots that have taken over the world, and the world's kind of destroyed and all this stuff.
So she's a robot killing all the other robots?
Yeah, she's like super fast, super fat booty, like all the supers that you need for a
is
great
her
character.
name to be or
not
to be?
To be.
You can take that one to the bank.
So
Ayo.
soundtrack, incredible. It's a platinum game.
Amen.
So I mean, you get in a mech, and
I love games with good soundtracks.
That's all you need.
It makes up for a lot. Anything that's bad in the game is less bad if there's a good soundtrack. That's facts. That's facts of life right there.
That's a scientific.
That's
fact.
Facts.
Facts.
So,
it's a good game so far. I'm not very far into it, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But so far, it's basically like ground combat. You're playing as the girl. You can shoot. You can melee. You can sprint and dodge and do like counter attacks and stuff. Aerial combat. All the things you expect from a platinum game.
I like that.
All the things you expect from a platinum game, and then you get into a mech.
I never know what to expect from a platinum game, to be
true.
honest.
So then you get into a mech, and it transforms into a plane, and you fight these giant, like 500-foot Godzilla monsters that are robots and stuff.
I like that.
So you're fighting like Megatron or whatever.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so far that's pretty good.
I like that a lot. That sounds good.
So
on the topic of good music making crappy parts of game, not crappy parts of game, but less good parts of games better. I just wanted to point out that I am absolutely terrible at any game where there's like puzzles you have to solve. Like a puzzle that takes a normal person 10 to 30 seconds takes me 3 days because I'm just terrible at figuring out the most obvious thing in the world all the time. But when I play games like Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, God of War, like when I play like Resident Evil 7, like games like that, and I'm just jamming to the music. Like, have you heard the music in Hellblade? Like, come on. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Get out of here. I could sit there and listen to that all day. I don't even care what's happening in the game. Phenomenal. Continue.
Okay. So, the other game that I played this week was Phasmophobia.
Yes, this is a game in the Star Wars universe where everyone is afraid of Captain Phasma, I believe.
Were you saving that joke for...
That was pretty good, right? Did you like that?
Phasmophobia is a first-person co-op horror game.
It's Captain Phasma! She's here again! Oh man, he likes it.
It's up to 4 players, and basically you are in a CIA van in a movie where they have all their computers and monitors set up, and they're like, David, we need to hack their system, and they're like sitting in the van while the team goes inside and stuff. So you
it's
basically
like the intro to what the heck's that game, the horror game where you take pictures and you can't shoot.
Outlast. So you got like your little.
You like roll up in a van in that, like that.
I don't know. I never played it.
Oh, you roll up in a van in that, and then you get out and you got a picture, and you're like, I gotta figure out what's going on here. And then you go inside, and there's like locusts from Gears of War trying to murder you.
Oh, sounds like fun. Well, yeah. I have that, but I've never played it.
It's not.
I guess October would be the time to do it.
The entire point of that game is to scare you. So if you're not into that, there's really not that much else to the game.
Right.
The whole point is scaring you.
So Phasmophobia, Captain Phasma, the fear of Captain Phasma from Star Wars. So you roll up in your mobile like home base, and you have information. You want to go into this building. You can pick like what equipment you're gonna bring. You pick what mission and difficulty you're gonna do. So the equipment's like a flashlight, a UV light that you can shine and see like fingerprints and stuff. Then you've got like a thing that a temperature gauge, because if there's a ghost, then the temperature drops, and then all of a sudden
and the ghost could have coronavirus.
Yeah,
so you want to
exactly.
make sure
so you don't want to get
that he does not have a temperature.
Exactly. So you head into the building, whatever it may be, a house, a abandoned school, a mansion, whatever. And it's dark, and the lights are flickering,
and this is 4-player co-op.
Yes. So you can all go in at
Max
once.
4 players.
Max 4 players. So you can get like a head cam, and someone can sit back at the base and see your view. They can watch you play. You're like, brrr. So you go in and you try and find where the ghost is basically hanging out, and you use your voice to like talk to it. So you're like,
hello.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the name of the ghost, and it'll say like, hey, the ghost name is Jimmy Powers, and you're like, okay, and you go in and you're like, Jimmy, you got a small ass dick, and and he'll be like, hey, what'd you say? And he like pops out, and it is like, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. So like last night,
man, Jimmy Powers sounds cool.
Jimmy Powers, yeah, you know what it is, boy.
Is he related to Kenny?
Kenny Powers, yes, it's Kenny Powers, long lost.
The ghost of Kenny Powers.
Yes.
La Flama Blanca.
Flama Blanca. What's the name? Hey yo,
Ricky Missile.
It's Ricky Missile. So
Ricky
anyway,
Missile.
It'll tell you the ghost likes to. It will only come out when someone's alone. So Ricky Missile,
The freaks come out at night.
Ricky Missile don't like it when you're in there with a group. So you got to go one guy alone. Ricky Missile comes out, and you're like, oh
wait. So you're trying to find the ghost, but you can't get it to come out unless you separate.
Sometimes, yes. That's not always the case.
Oh, okay.
So your objective is to complete the tasks that are set up for you, but also if you can find the ghost and take a picture of it.
Do the ghosts look like people with sheets with holes cut in them?
No.
What do they look like?
There's 10 different types of ghosts that you can encounter.
Do they look like... I can't think of any games with ghosts in them right now, but do they look like anything that we could relate it to? Like, are we talking like Ghostbusters?
No.
Or are we talking like a horror movie?
We're talking like the witch from Left 4 Dead in a black cloak, like jumps up and has a hook, like a scythe.
So it's like scary.
Yeah. So, like, for example, the one game we played last night, we walked in the front of the house. As soon as we get in the front, a book flies off the shelf in front of us. We're like, all right,
that.
Set up shop here.
Don't like that.
So you can throw down, like, a book with a pencil in it, and the ghost will, like, write stuff in there, and it'll say, like, you can't run, or it'll draw, like, a swastika. It doesn't draw swastikas, but it'll draw like.
Why is it a Nazi ghost?
It might be. I don't know.
Jeez, Lou.
No, so it'll just draw like demonic stuff in there, or like.
Freaking idiot.
So it'll draw like demonic stuff, or like, just English, and try and scare you. And then you can just, like, turn around and it'll be standing behind you. But it is, like, straight up a thing where you talk into your microphone and say, like, hey, Kenny Powers.
Wait, you actually have to talk like in real life?
Yes. Or, like, hey, Ricky Missile, where are you? And then, like, you have, like, this little...
Don't like that.
You'll have this little contraption, and it'll just be like... the bedroom, and you're like, oh, and you go up to the bedroom, and he's just like in there.
You know what that game will be like when I play it? It'll be like the first haunted house movie when Marlon Wayans finds out that there's a ghost in his house, and then the screen transitions to black, and when it comes back, he's putting a for sale sign in his front lawn, and then he jumps in a moving van and he drives away. That's exactly what me playing. As soon as I walked in and the book flew off the shelf, I'd be like, see you later.
So mechanically,
we out.
Mechanically, you walk like you weigh 7,000 pounds and can barely move.
Like a big daddy?
Yeah, so you walk really slow, and then you just have this equipment. The only thing you can do to defend yourself is throw like a crucifix at the ghost.
Just throw it?
Yeah, you like bonk it on the head and run. But basically you have a sanity meter, so when you go inside, your sanity starts to deplete, and if you spend a lot of time in the dark, your sanity drains faster, and if your sanity gets too low and the ghost comes out, then it can try and kill you, and that's the hunting mode. The doors all slam shut, and you have to try and hide.
And the ghost is trying to find you and kill you.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying.
It is, indeed.
I don't think I want to play that game.
So, basically, your objectives are to get all the clues and figure out what kind of ghost it is, and figure all that out. And then if you can get pictures of things, like its fingerprints, the ghost itself, the fact that it turned on a sink and the water's like all ghosty. I don't know how else to describe it.
I hate when my water's ghosty.
I don't like ghosty water
Ghost,
either.
you got your ghosty in my water. Get it out.
So that's the gist of that game. It's alright.
I'm sure it would be fun if you played with 4 people.
If you had 4 people,
if you played with 4 people, hardest difficulty, and like just screamed the whole time, it would probably be a blast. But right now, just thinking about it, I have a little bit of poop in my pants, so I'm not really into it right now.
It's just one of those games. The more friends you have, the funner it is.
Yeah,
if you're playing alone, then it's kind of a bummer.
That's standard.
But it's probably more scary alone too. So, other than that, we both played
2 of the same games.
Prodeus.
One of which is the Prodeus beta demo. Prodeus, if you don't know what that is a sort of retro FPS Doom-like type shooter where, I mean, it's like Doom. It's got old school graphics. You pick up shotguns and rocket launchers and you blast giant demon things in the face. It's pretty freaking sick.
The key cards are ripped straight out of Doom.
Straight out of Doom.
The weapon or the enemies,
upgrades, enemies, everything. It's just like old Doom games, but it's Prodeus and it's kind of sick. And we don't say they copied Doom in a bad way. They did it because they know that Doom is the pinnacle of good FPS games.
Single player.
So it's really fun.
Yeah, they give you a sprint button, and then they say, all right, shoot everything that moves. So, like, even the enemies from, like, Doom 2, like, that throw the fireballs. Like,
yeah.
You know the dudes in Doom Eternal? I forget what they're called. But they, like, summon enemies, and then they can have, like, a fire thing around them and stuff, and they teleport.
Yes.
Those are even in Prodeus.
Yes.
Like, all of it's
Facts.
in Prodeus.
Those things suck in Doom Eternal, by the way.
But
don't like them.
they do suck. They're really annoying.
Pain in my butt.
But the gunplay feels awesome.
It feels really good. By the way, if you want Prodeus, you can sign up to try. It's not guaranteed to try to receive a closed beta key by going to their Steam page, and you just click a button that says try to get in the closed beta or whatever, and then they email you. We both got the email this week. That's why we both played it. Yeah. The demo is only 3 levels, so you're not missing out on a ton. And the first level is kind of an intro level. It's called like the Boomer intro or whatever. Stuff. You can punch stuff. The first level is like an intro. It's real quick. And then the second level is like a legit, like, find the key cards, do all the missions, kill all the enemies. It's legit, like, fleshed out, good. And then the third mission that's in the beta is like a time trial, which is also really freaking fun. But again, it's only one, like, legit campaign mission in the beta. So you're not missing a ton. But
there's going to be an open beta.
It is very good.
This month?
And there's going to be an open beta, and I think the game comes out in November.
Mm-hmm. So
buy it.
It's pretty close to done. Music, heavy metal. Gameplay, heavy metal.
Check
that off. It's all
check those off.
Great. So I have my stream up of me playing through the game. If you want to see gameplay. I titled my stream Short Stream because this guy said Prodeus is pretty short. Just plan
the beta, not the game.
Yeah, okay. The closed beta is pretty short.
The closed beta demo is short. We don't know the length of the game because it's not out.
Okay, so
continue.
He said, don't anticipate on playing it very long. You can play through it a couple times, but it's only like a half hour total of like your first run through because it's just like a very small demo.
Right.
So I put short stream, I'm playing through Prodeus, and then I'm bailing out. And then I ended up playing for 3.5 hours.
Because it's a good game.
So it has those levels. I ended up speed running the shotgun trial for like 2 hours.
Yes, sir.
And I ended up getting the 4th highest or
Which,
fourth fastest time.
By
in
the
world.
way, there's like a map creator, so people are
Yes.
going to be making their own time trials and stuff in that game, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so the developers, I think, used Unity to make the game, and then they made their own level editor. So you can edit your own levels, you can make them, like, you can script everything, you can mess with it visually and put materials, you can
I like that.
make skyboxes and literally anything you want. You can place enemies, weapon pickups, ammo pickups. You can make multiplayer maps, single player levels. Like, you can literally have scripted events or like doors that you can open with keys or whatever. So you can make like a full
You
on...
love to see it.
So they went far beyond the expectation with Prodeus, and I will be purchasing it day one.
Samesies. Game's good. And if you like Doom-like games, check out New Blood.
Yep. New Blood and Prodeus. The show.
They don't miss. They don't miss.
They
Damn.
don't miss. Dusk.
Don't miss.
Medieval.
Doesn't miss.
Ultra Kill.
Doesn't miss. We still don't know when the next act of Ultra Kill is coming out, and it's been like a month since Act 1. I don't know when Act 2 is coming out, and it's really killing me because it's good.
Thanks.
Anyway. Back to the other games that we played.
This
the
week.
one that we both also played besides Proteus, I just bit my tongue, is Hades.
It's still good the whole time.
Which you talked about last week. So we don't really need to explain what the game is. It's a roguelike, Greek mythology, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got my feet wet in it. I didn't put 20 hours in or anything, but I played a few hours and I died because it's really hard.
It is hard.
I have not beat it. Have you beat it?
No.
He hasn't beat
made it to the final boss.
Neither of us have beat it.
The
Not that
boss.
you don't actually beat. Did you make it to Hades?
Yeah.
That's the final boss. So if you kill Hades, you start over, but the story keeps going. There's new dialogue. There's new story progression. There's all kinds of new crap. It adds constant new crap to find. It's insane. So we're saying we haven't beat it, but really we
haven't won
you
a run.
Don't beat it. We haven't finished a run. That's the real thing. Because we suck.
I'm pretty good.
But the game's hard. All right, he's good. I'm not.
So,
anyway, game's great. Love it.
Early on, it's definitely harder to get farther because you also lack all the upgrades that you're gaining over time.
Weapons, etc.
So the more you play, the more you get better, and the more Zagreus has to his tool set.
Zagreus is a sick name, by the way.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. His voice actor is Darren Korb, the guy who also does the Incredible soundtrack.
The Incredible soundtrack for Hades, for Bastion, for Transistor, every single soundtrack slaps. Darren Korb does not miss.
Also does not miss. We're coming at you with things that don't miss tonight.
Bullseyes.
Sakurai.
Bullseyes left and right. Sakurai doesn't miss. New Blood doesn't miss. Anything that's anything like Doom doesn't miss. Darren Korb doesn't miss.
Doesn't miss.
None of those things miss. They're like Chris Kyle. Headshot
right
every time. Between the eyes.
Per time.
Moving on.
The Mitt.
Unless you got anything else to talk about Hades. No? You good?
You should just play it.
Yeah, I'm going to play it more.
Everybody should play it.
I actually might play it tonight. No joke. Alright.
Everybody should play it because it's a great narrative game on top of roguelike.
The game I put the most time into this week. I'm sorry to disappoint you all, but it's Warzone. Turns out I'm really good at this game. When I've been playing by myself, I've been learning from a little guy you might have heard from him named Average Joe Woe, who blew up because he has the world record for playing solo quads, and he gets I forget what his record is. I think it's 38 kills or something, and he won the game by himself in quads, which is just ridiculous. I don't even understand. But he was talking about, because I already knew that solos and duos in Warzone suck because it's 99% more camping, heart beating, and using Ghost, and it's just stupid. And he flat out said that. He was like, if you're playing solos and duos, you're not getting any better at the game. And he was like, if you play solos or have one friend to play with, if you're by yourself or have one friend to play with, play trios or quads. Because if you can learn to take on those like multi-team, multiple people outnumbering you fights, then you're just going to squash everybody when you play those modes. And that's all I've been doing. If I play by myself, I play trios. And I've been playing with one friend, and we play trios still. And we haven't really won, but like we get a good amount of kills. I've multiple times playing by myself in trios have gotten like 12, 13 kills, which obviously it's not like what a pro Warzone player is getting, but I don't think it's bad. Anyway, so the new update wasn't out last week, right?
It was just about to come out. It came out on Tuesday this week, right?
Dead serious? I've probably put, I don't know, more than 10 hours in since the update came out. I have not seen the subway one time. I haven't been in there. There's absolutely no reason for it.
Pointless.
It's completely pointless. They basically didn't change the map. I just watched Joe when he was playing with Lulu, whatever her name is. He told her, don't do that. He told her to go into the subway car. He's like, it'll take you into the circle. She got into the subway car. It comes out at the next stop, and it's in the gas, and she just died. How dumb is that? Why does it even go in there? Just shut it down. Shut down that station. Anyway, moving on. So they really didn't change anything in the Warzone map, in my opinion. The nerf to the C4, though, best thing that they've done yet since the game came out. C4 was so broken because you could throw it as far as a grenade, but it did 8 times the explosion. And now you throw it like 2 feet. It's amazing. So all these people that can't actually kill you, and if you have like good movement and try and move on the other side of a wall or whatever, they would just go, whoop, C4, and you're dead instantly. They can't do it anymore. And people are blowing themselves up left and right. More suicides than I've ever seen in Warzone. Everyone's killing themselves, and it's the best thing I've ever seen. Anyway.
That sounds like a win.
And I'm not even using EOD anymore. I haven't taken EOD off since Warzone came out. Now I'm using double time. I'm sprinting around the map like I'm Usain Bolt. Because EOD doesn't matter because everybody's not throwing C4s at me. And I can actually run away from grenades because they can't detonate it in midair while it's this close to my head. And it's a nuke.
It's a beautiful thing.
Great job. That's Infinity Ward. You suck at pretty much everything, but that C4 nerf, best thing you ever did. Anyway, other game I played this week was another... Alright, I played like 4 games. We already talked about the other one. So another game I played was Among Us, which everyone's playing. Everyone knows what it is. I've been watching streams of it constantly, but I hadn't played it yet. I played it for the first time. I played it with only 6 people, which I thought kind of sucked. I feel like you have to have 10 people for it to really like reach its full potential. We probably played 25 games, and no joke, probably 20 of them were over after the first round. Because when there's only 6 people, like, somebody gets 1 or 2 kills, then there's only 4 people left, and we're like, oh, well, us 3 were here, so it was that person, and then the game's just over. Like, almost every single time we were ending at round 1, and I was like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, I haven't even played the game
I feel like you having 10 people and 2 imposters instead of less people and only 1 imposter is the way to go. If you don't have 10 people and 2 imposters, you might as well not even play. Like, no joke. I think it ruins the game. But that game's fun. I really like watching streams of it, and I don't think I would be good at streaming it because I'm not really like a screamer. But Ninja is, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's true.
He's kind of an idiot sometimes when he plays the game, and he does like third imposter a lot and mess up a lot of stuff. But it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. Hey, the Eagles won. Anyway.
Wow, did they?
Yeah, what a miracle. Yeah, that's all I got for the games I played this week. Among Us, Warzone, Prodeus, Hades. Prodeus. That's pretty much all I've been doing.
Check it out for sure on
Prodeus.
Steam.
Yes. Prodeus. Prodeus.
So, other than all those things that we just discussed, I also checked out Genshin Impact, which it's basically the Chinese free-to-play
Breath of the Wild
gacha game that is copy-pasted from Breath of the Wild, except without breakable
Wasn't
weapons.
there like an E3 trailer? or something where everyone was like, "Oh, it's Breath of the Wild," and then it wasn't.
It was something a few months ago that they showed, and everybody was like blown away. Like the art style looked great, the music's pretty good, voice acting's pretty good. It's Breath of the Wild. Like that's just the way it is. I played about an hour and a half. It's all right. I read and heard from like game journalists and stuff that it gets better once you get beyond that point and break beyond that point, but it didn't do enough to make me want to keep playing. Like it didn't bring anything new to the table.
Dude, isn't that what was the other game where they said that? What was it? Freaking Death Stranding?
Where
they said like, oh, you have to play 30 hours into the game and then it starts getting good.
Yeah, I hate
when they say that, I'm like, why would I ever want to play 30 hours of not liking a game before it gets good?
Yeah, that's a point I briefly brought up in the Nier Automata video where I was like, if you start off the game and you're just like bored out of your mind and you don't even want to play it, and then you have to play to a certain point for it to actually get good,
yeah,
like, is it
good?
Is it good?
Probably not.
Because you have to like force yourself through bad stuff to get to good stuff.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
That's why Nier Automata's opening level is like...
I don't like that. It's the same thing when it's the other way though. Like I've had games where you play like a 10-hour campaign and then you get to the 10th hour and you're like, this game feels like it should be wrapping up right now. And then there's like another 4 hours and they're not good anymore because they just wanted to like keep making it longer.
That happens very frequently. It's either the game starts off too slow, you don't even want to get to the good, or it's really good and then it starts to taper off and you don't want to finish it. That happens to me a lot where I'm just like, all right, this has got to end soon. That happened with Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
The only games I can, like, at least in recent years, the only games where from start to finish, I was like, I just want this to keep going. Like, this is so freaking good. Last of Us 2, God of War, Breath of the Wild. They're the only games. Doom Eternal. That's true. Those are the only games that I was like the whole time. I was like, please don't end. Like, keep going.
Mario Odyssey too.
It feels like that's true. All right, there's a bunch of games, but you get my point. There's a lot of games where you're playing like the single player, the campaign, or whatever, and like halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, you're like, this could just be over now.
I got to that point with Paper Mario, where I was like, all right, like. Let's
wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up, folks.
Let's wrap this up. And
that's actually I was on. Speaking of like retro FPSs, one of the retro FPSs I played was Ion Fury, which is like a Duke Nukem spiritual successor.
Right.
That game was fun, and it had that like Duke Nukem, like you play as a chick and she like yells stuff at enemies and says like, screw that guy, and like stuff like that. Like it's like Duke Nukem, and you blow things up with guns, and it's really fun. I got like almost done that game, and I literally stopped playing because I was like, this game could be over right now. Nothing new has happened. Like there hasn't been anything new introduced. Like I have all the same weapons. I just got bored of it.
That's why games like Titanfall 2's campaign, where it's exactly what it needs to be.
This guy knows.
It's one of the best single-player FPS campaigns ever made. You start off, you get in, you get out, and
it's good the whole time.
A game should leave you wanting more when you finish it. Not, I want this to be over.
Right. I should not have to feel like, oh, sorry, I have to finish this game. Like, it's like a chore to finish it. Right. Like, I'm like, well, I'm already 15 hours in. I might as well finish it now.
Yeah. The game should leave you wanting more. It's always quality over quantity.
Dude, Last of Us 2 was like, it was like when you get a book and it's like so unbelievable that you read 500 pages in one day. Yeah. And I just did not want to stop. Like, the first time I played that game, I turned it on at like 9:30 a.m. and I didn't stop playing until like 6 at night, and I was like, this game is so good.
Yeah, that's an opinion. We can do a whole
episode on The Last of Us Part 2.
On The Last of Us Part 2.
Well, that's for another day.
But that game, it is very long, and there are times where you're like, this should be over. but then it's not. But I think the quality of the gameplay, the characters,
I loved it
the
whole
visuals.
time. Even when people,
like, I just want to keep playing this.
When people got mad at that part where you play as that person, I was like, I was mad because of what that person did, but at the same time, as I started playing, I like understood how this weaved the story together, and I was like, man, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, stop talking about Last of Us Part 2.
We like the game. It has its faults, but it's really, really
It doesn't have that many faults.
Well, we can talk about that in another episode. I beat the game 3 times. This kid beat it once. I'm just saying.
I'm also
just saying.
I'm also not good at replaying games, though. Like, I rarely go back and beat a single player game again.
I beat it 3 times.
I'm just not a big... I'm the same way with, like, movies, though. Like, there's movies that I think are absolutely unbelievable. Like, for instance, off the top of my head, I think of, like, Interstellar. Like, I thought that movie was insane. Like, it was so good. I saw it one time, never watched it again.
I've only seen it, like, twice or
I'm just
times.
not good at redoing the same thing.
We watched 1917 twice. Because that was really good.
That movie was really good. I like that movie a lot.
So, anyway, back to Genshin Impact after a 10-minute rant about other stuff. Everything is ripped from Breath of the Wild except for the freedom right in the beginning. Like, they kind of put you on the rails for the first few minutes, and there's, like, cutscenes that interrupt everything. And that is another pet peeve of mine, that you can't... Max Payne 3... You can't do anything without getting interrupted.
Do you have a cough?
No, that was a...
Okay, yeah, I got it.
A pet peeve of mine is if you give me control, I walk 10 feet, and then it triggers a cutscene. I'm just like...
Why'd you give me control?
Why not
just play the
cutscene? It's my opinion that there are way too many games now that take the control away from the player in situations where they could just let you keep playing and it doesn't need to be a cutscene. It happens so frequently and it drives me insane. It drives me up a damn wall.
It drives me bonkers, mate.
Max Payne 3 is the biggest culprit I think I've ever played of this, where there is a scene of the game where you're trying to escape these enemies and you get on a bus, and Max tells this girl, drive the bus, I'll shoot. Drive the bus, I'll shoot. So she starts driving, enemies start coming out, you shoot a few. Cutscene. It shows the girl in a cinematic camera like, I'm driving a bus! And he's like, just drive, idiot! And then it switches back to control and you shoot a few more enemies. And then all of a sudden, the camera switches, you're in another cutscene, and she jerks the wheel and goes around a turn, and he's like, well, you keep it steady, I'm trying to shoot. And then you go back to you playing. Why? Why is there a cutscene there? Just let me play. Just let me play the whole time. It doesn't make any sense. It's a nightmare. So Genshin Impact, it starts, and you have this little thing that talks in the third person and is really annoying. It's like what? What's the fairy from Ocarina? Navi. It's like Navi interrupting you, except she calls herself her own name instead of saying I. So it's like if Navi said, Navi thinks we should go there. Navi likes this. It's Navi like, this. It's Navi like
Jar
that.
Jar.
And it's like, why? That is the worst decision possible for this character.
Misa thinks we go this way.
So anytime the little Navi character in Genshin Impact talks, instead of saying I, it says her name.
Which is?
I can't remember.
Oh. Okay.
I can't remember the name. But just imagine Navi coming out and saying, hi.
Navi think we do this.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Navi think we go over
there. And it interrupts,
there.
And then you go and you walk out, and there's a cutscene, and there's a dragon, and the dragon flies away, and then you go back to playing, and then you walk 10 feet, and there's a cutscene, and I was like...
Do you like dragons?
Yes. The dragon was pretty cool.
Dragon,
and you end up fighting it, too, like, not very long after that. So anyway, all the mechanics are exactly the same as Breath of the Wild. You get a glider. You can sprint, but it has a stamina meter that appears and you can't do anything. You can climb anything in the world exactly like Breath of the Wild, but it drains your stamina. You can go swimming, but it drains your stamina. Basically. But the main difference is you have like this magic system where you can create combos using like
elemental.
Yes, like ice and electric
Elemental
or whatever.
magic.
Or like if enemies are standing in the water, you can give them the 1-2 punch like BioShock and hit them with electricity, or you can freeze them. So these magical abilities basically, like if there's water and you're like, I don't want to go swimming, you can like, you know, the Breath of the Wild thing. Yeah, you get an ice cube that comes up.
Knew it.
So instead, he just goes like this and goes, and then it shoots.
But it's like
ice
a legit
out.
game.
Yeah, like if you're into that, yup. Like it's pretty cool, and you level up and stuff. But it's free to play, and you're gonna eventually hit a wall where it's like you can't advance the story until you get to this point, and
Give
you
me
either have to grind.
$5 billion.
Yeah, you either have to grind or
something else.
Pay money.
Yeah.
So I mean. A lot of people are saying they love it. I think I played it in 2017 on the Switch. Breath of the Wild.
Understood, sir. All right. We're at about an hour.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up.
So next week, I want to talk about finally, at long last, beating Final Fantasy VII.
Talk about Final Fantasy VII next week. We're going to talk about what we play over the course of the next week, which will likely be some of the same, some of the new, like always. If anything cool new stuff happens, like Minecraft Steve and Smash Bros., which I doubt, we'll bring that up again. We've been talking about the idea of maybe interviewing people. Don't know if we can get anyone interesting on here, but we'll try. And we're going to see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll talk about more games. We'll talk about any new news, like the PS5 being an absolute mammoth of a console.
Approximately that big.
It's gigantic. Apparently the Series X is approximately the square size of a GameCube, just taller. So it's not too bad.
Not that big. Everybody made fun of Xbox for being a fridge, and it turns out PS5 is a spaceship.
The PS5 makes it look small.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Look up pictures of it.
Anyway.
And so, I just want to say, I do like Final Fantasy VII Remake a lot, and all the women are very attractive in it, and all the men, I guess, are attractive too. Everybody says. Anyway, soundtrack's great. Visually amazing. It's really good. It does have problems. But I'm going to finish it this week and we'll talk about it.
Thanks for watching. That was episode 3 of the Hard Mode Gaming Podcast.
Also on the Disney Channel.
Also on the Disney Channel. I'm Tim. This is Dan. I can be found everywhere, including Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Mitsofting, MITSOFTING. He can be found the same platforms at RedSawQ4. REDSAWQ4. It's not Red Sox, it's Red Saw. RedSawQ4. Type it on your keyboard. That's how he invented it. It's amazing. Anyway, everyone, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay nice and hard.
Love you.
Love you. I'm Tim. This is Dan. And you're watching Disney Channel.
It wasn't matched up at all.
That was pretty good. I liked it.
But you can cut it right.
Wait, should we draw before the saying Disney Channel?
And you're watching the Disney Channel.
No, and you're watching Disney Channel.
I guess.
Let's do that.